Hey guys, this is Rachel Feldman. I'm so excited. Just want to tell you that I'm trying out a new system, which is um, Google Hangout. So bear with me if I have any technical issues. Um, I'm going to give just a few more minutes before we start. All right, so we are going to get going. This is Rachel Feldman. I am so excited, so honored to be here. Let me just change my format. First off, again, my name is Rachel Feldman. I do a lot of these webinars because I was, I always say like once and oftentimes in that situation where I feel like lost and confused. And yes, I'm 5 years into my business, and luckily I have, a great business. And even from the beginning, I was fortunate that I tapped right away into my story. I tapped right away into getting very clear as to who I was speaking to. The thing is that I did have a website. I actually had a site that was given to me by my school, which was the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. But I wasn't one of those people that was able to make things look fabulous, and I by no means had a list. I'd come from commercial real estate, and the people that I had a list from my commercial real estate were not the people that I was necessarily going to have on my list from here. I worked, really hard to try to figure out how to have all of these like opt-in freebies. Everyone in school, I would hear Robert Notter say, sign up people, opt-in freebies, build your list. But I was just like, how the hell do I build my list? And for me, part of my story, and you can ask me more about it anytime. Feel free to email me or anything. Part of the story is that, I had graduated from nutrition school, and that same month was actually the month that we lost our savings. And my husband, I remember turning to me and saying, look, what do we want to do? Do you want to go back to commercial real estate? What should we do? And we sold our house. We made a pivotal move also to move to Florida. We wanted to change our pace of life. But I knew, crap, I've really got to make this work because I want to do this more than anything. And I'm not going to go back to commercial real estate. I'm going to go and build my business. And that is why I want to share with you what I did from the ground up, because I get a lot of coaches contacting me about the Done For You programs, and they say, Rach, can I buy these programs and build my business if I have no website or no list? And the truth was, and I will tell you this straight up, I sold my first detox, even though I had a website, off of Eventbrite, because I had no idea how to put a PayPal button, how to do HTML, how to do any of that stuff on my site. But that wasn't going to stop me. And that's what I want to share with you tonight. Like, if you're confused where to start, we're going to talk about the ground up. We're going to talk about not how to make 5 grand in a week or how to get to 9 figures or all that stuff. We're going to actually talk about the foundation, your niche, your message. I see so many coaches out there, and I even sell done for you programs. And I talked about this today in an early bird webinar to coaches. And I said, so many coaches, myself included, who feel nervous and scared. We go and we think, I've got to get this. I've got to go to this school. I've got to go to that school. But it's like often, A, maybe you are doing that and it's not successful. B, maybe you don't have the money like I didn't. C, maybe you really have to make this work, not only professionally, but because it's deep in your soul. It's like the heart-wrenching deep in your soul. I must make this work. So regardless of whatever your reasons are, I'm going to share with you simple tools and tricks that I learned from the get-go that cost me nothing. I didn't have anybody help me figure out MailChimp. I didn't have anybody, help me build Wix websites or Weebly or any of those. I learned it myself, and that's how I got empowered. So yeah, I was that person at a light. This is back when I had a BlackBerry, would be emailing saying, no problem, I will get you your materials when I get home. I didn't know Dropbox, so I sent materials via email. And this is what I talk to coaches about who I work with one-on-one, or I talk to coaches about even in the forums that I run who buy the programs. It's like, we can go old school. I know things are very techie based these days, but there's no reason that we can't send a program out. I would actually send all the documents out in an email. I hope I don't crash. I hope I didn't crash anyone's, computer, but that's what I would do. And I sent out a really nice, welcome letter, and I didn't have automation. I didn't even know how to do that. As I said, I started with Eventbrite. So there's no excuse when it comes to building your business. So that is me. Bottom line is I'm a health coach. I specialize in detox because I don't believe that you need to go and drink, raw cabbage juice for 5 days. But I do believe that we live in a pretty toxic world. I know I birth toxic babies. I have an autoimmune. My husband has an autoimmune. And these days, I see more like 17, 18, 19-year-olds in my practice than I ever have. And for me, detox and cleansing and the elimination diet was the foundation, has been the foundation of my business. And every different functional medicine doctor that I ever went to see, that was where I started. Really clearing out foods that were wreaking havoc on my body that I had no idea. And so I believe in detoxing our body and detoxing our mind. Real simple. I am a biz coach. I work with people who want to build their business, whether they're a solo entrepreneur by choice, which I was not. I didn't have the money to afford a team or anybody. I did everything on my own. I love my kids. Everyone knows that they inspire me. And yes, I do rub essential oils all over me. So if you want to know about essential oils, you can, ask me about them. But what really made it work for me, it was having a proven plan and a system. I mean, that was key. And what was happening in my business is that I was getting so many people who are coming to me with thyroid issues. I'm not a hormone specialist. People are coming to me with, weight issues, cancer, hepatitis, autoimmune stuff. I mean, the list was expansive and it was all over the place. And I realized there was one common denominator that everyone had, and it was just inflammation. So if I had said, not a specialist, great, go to a hormone specialist for that if you need that. But I can help you clean out the trash can in your body. That was really the birth of my first detox program. And I never had the intention to sell done for you programs. I just needed a system for me because I was writing so many plans. I was pulling recipes from so many different places, and it was just tiring. And my clients and my work with me page, that's what I realized also, to not be cookie cutter, to set myself apart from other people. I needed to stand out. I realized that people wanted a program. They wanted a system. And even though I was going to personalize everything in my one-on-one business, I realized I need to have a detox or a cleanse. I needed to also stop recreating the wheel every time I was seeing a client, because it was pretty much the same thing. You know, I work with people who are pretty much grain-free. Some of them are not. You know, some of them I do are vegetarian, so I have vegetarian plans. They're all the same programs and then done for you. Work with people who, some of them want to do a cleanse, some of them don't. So I start them on the weight loss program and Revitalize. But that was the birth of all the programs, because they were really programs that I needed simply for myself. That was bottom line. So what ended up happening, like I said, getting back to this, is it was very simple. I sat there and I said, okay, how do I sell? So let's, walk back with me to the beginning of my business when I was like, and still there are days where I'm like, I can't figure out something like how to download an app or frickin' Periscope or some other stuff. But in the beginning, and even now, there's still no excuse. We have to figure it out. So when a coach emails me and says, how do I sell without a site? I always say, and this is what I talk about in the forum, we have a Facebook business page. When I teach at Hippocrates, I literally in that class say to everyone, okay, open up your computer, which they all have there. And I'm like, let's even in 15 minutes create a business Facebook page. You could have that sign up button go directly to signing up for your detox. That's number one. Eventbrite is so easy. It takes money, puts it directly into your PayPal account. A blog. You can set up a blogger in a hot New York second. Any blog, and I've seen some very successful coaches who literally just blog their detox and then they put a PayPal button or any shopping cart that you use. Twitter, you can sell detoxes off of Twitter or programs or your services, landing pages, daily deals, Living Social. Twitter's there twice. Shopify, Instagram. I mean, yes, do you need to have that one place such as the landing page? Yeah, but even as I said, Eventbrite or even a blog, Periscope, all of these places you can sell. MailChimp has a place as well as Aweber, as well as Constant Contact that you can add in how to take money. Wix, I actually found Wix years ago because I actually was doing a program with another coach. I had no idea that people actually, you could hire them for landing pages. I didn't even know what a landing page was. I think the first virtual assistant that I ever hired, they said, what do you want to put on your squeeze page and your landing page? And I was like, what is that? I almost felt like somebody should have given a dictionary when I graduated nutrition school, because I had no idea this whole marketing world that I was stepping into. And it scared the shit out of me. In my previous career, the internet and web and marketing, it wasn't viral like it is now. I had a last 2 years of my business and it was like a nothing site. It was just for a picture pretty much and where you could find me. But I had built many different, about 5 different Wix websites, landing pages, so easy. Weebly, I actually worked with a few coaches, and while we were Skyping and doing strategy sessions and also working one-on-one, we literally built the Weebly site. I was blown away. Squarespace is another that's free. It's not even up here. Blogger, in a second, you can create a blogger and post your entire program and sell. And YouTube. These are all things that you can do for free. Just you, I always say, yeah, my team, me, myself, and Irene. So I do love free, and free is what has really worked for me and has been the mainstay and what has allowed me to support my family. And I still do that to this day. We tried to build another business. My husband did. It didn't go so well. So we've really stuck to what does work, and that's me health coaching and creating done-for-you programs, and teaching and doing workshops and online and offline and passive income. And so I do use a lot of these free tools. To build my list, I did free teleclasses. The first one I did had 4 people, but I didn't quit. And I think that's the thing I want to tell you also tonight. It's like, don't quit, because nobody talks about me, in the beginning of my career. Like, nobody knew me. Nobody talked about me even year 2. And as I consistently blogged, really, now I still had a great practice. I had tons of clients. I actually had a client here who was one of my first clients who found me on the internet because I blogged, I had videos, I had teleclasses, I used Eventbrite to post events. So my search engine optimization showed that I was a health coach. I had clients, but nobody knew me on social media. But as you continue to do these free classes, webinars, teleclasses, do videos, put yourself out there, you will build your list. And that's what you also do with opt-in freebies. So easy to cost low websites, landing pages. Wix, like I said, free. Weebly, WordPress blog, Facebook business page, Zoho, Google Pages. Lead pages, yesterday I looked, $25 is the lowest. It's $25 for a month. I mean, there's so many templates. I think there's like 600. So you can really have any different landing page, opt-in page to opt in for your list builder. You can also, even if you don't need a landing page, sign up for Constant Contact, sign up for MailChimp. It's free. Don't do automation, and just get people to sign up for your list, and then email those people your opt-in. Email them something. I think we get so caught up, I know I do, in overthinking sometimes, instead of just saying in the simplicity of our business. I'm like, if everything is flowing, and flowing meaning that it's that like our business is actually like working, our sales funnel's working, our opt-in freebie, we're not stuck. And yes, like, are you going to get stuck? If anyone tells you you're not going to get stuck in your business at some point, they're completely bullshit. And I'm sorry. Yes. Do I curse a lot? I try to keep it real, because this is the truth. This is your business, and you're an entrepreneur now. If you don't want to be an entrepreneur, go work for a health food store, go work for Target, go work for a company, but you're an entrepreneur and you took that leap of faith. And now it's time to take a second leap of faith and invest in yourself. And if you don't have the money to invest in hiring somebody, again, these are so many of the free tools that I've used. Okay, the no HTML skills, like I said. Even if you have no HTML skills and you stink at that PayPal button, so many tutorials. And one of the reasons that in the Done For You programs, in Rockstar, Paleo, Revitalize, we put a tutorial on how to do PayPal, how to do buttons. We even give little cute pictures for PayPal buttons. That's why we also have I think it's 16 tutorials, because that was a biggie for me. I felt like, where are the tutorials? And you go on YouTube and you're trying to Google it, and all these different crazy things come up. So, but yes, if you are the person who you're just like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Set it up in Blogger, go to Wix or Weebly, add some pics. People are buying you I think that's what we forget so often in coaching, because we get so jacked up looking at other people's stuff that we think, I can't do this, but they're really buying you. And if you're excited and you're enthusiastic, I mean, I'm not saying that my, my site from school was ever crappy, but it didn't look good. I mean, honestly, I didn't have skills to make it look good. And people still hired me because somebody actually once said to me, God, your personality is everywhere on this. So you can sell a program no matter what, you have, whether it's a $5,000 website or a $5 or a zero cost website or a blogger. How to take payment. So this is the one thing that I always say to people, like if you're even at an event and you don't even have this showcased anywhere, and I've done events where I've printed out recipes, I've printed out different parts of my program, and I've had it in cute little frames that I got from Office Max. You can do Square right there on your phone. You can take check, cash. I wouldn't take cash because, you do need to report this, of course. But there are so many different things that you can have applications on your phone and iPad, your computer right there, as long as you have, it plugged in and you have the internet. Checks are easy, like I said. I mean, this is so doable. And easy ways to sell a program. So, as I said, Google Drive. You can even use Google Drive to create a sales page. You just would need to, get the payment, but you can, in Google Drive, have an entire sales page and send that to people and make it a no edit sales page. YouTube, make a video about the program and put a link to how to contact you with your email. Different webinars, Webinar Jam and some other webinars actually allow you to integrate payment methods right there. Newsletters and emails, free events, blogging, opt-in freebies. Even in an opt-in freebie, you can, put information about your program and link it right to your Facebook business page, your event page. I mean, what I'm trying to say is it's really limitless, like what you could do. I mean, you can even do a PowerPoint that has everything and take payment. I think that, like I said, we get really uncomfortable thinking, or we get, scared to think outside the box. But that's how the most successful coaches, I believe, have found longevity, is we thought outside the box. I know I had to. I knew that, I had to not only do this, for my soul, but I had to do this for, so to speak, gluten-free bread and dairy-free milk on the table. So opt-in freebies, you can do it in so many different ways. This is how you build your list. People, yes, are the opt-in freebies in our programs like sick? They're amazing. I mean, it took me like years to create a good template for an opt-in freebie and something that was enticing and exciting. And the opt-in freebies actually that I use, that I sell in the programs, I've had some that I've increased my list by 450, some by 600. If it's a great opt-in freebie, boom, people are gonna, sign up for it. Especially if you market it and you lead them then with an email to whatever you want to offer. Program, working with you, strategy session, essential oils, or a sauna, or Beachbody, like whatever you do, whatever is your thing. Maybe you're making like the best ketchup, the best new like honey-based ketchup, and that's what you're selling. Like, great, then opt-in freebie them into that ketchup. Events, free classes, workshops, like, this is really how you build your list, and this is how you build trust with people. One of the things that people always say to me when they talk to me or they work with me one-on-one is they're like, wow, you're really exactly the same as when you do webinars. And for me, when I do webinars and teleclasses, or when I teach or that kind of stuff, it is about building relationships and trust. And so people know who I am and what I'm about. And so if you're buying something from me, or if you're working with me, it's not like, you know, it's not like you sit there and say, oh, that's not what she's like. So it's the same thing with your clients or your potential clients. You want to get to know A, what they want, B, who your people are, C, what problems they're having. So your opt-in freebies and your teleclasses and your webinars become your marketing material, and also your surveys. It's how you get to know your people, which is such a great free tool instead of sending out a Survey Monkey. Cooking classes I love. People love to come to cooking classes. People love to do shopping tours. I always laugh thinking everyone knows how to shop, and it's hysterical because I have this one moms group I created a program for, and like 20 of the moms asked if I could do a grocery shopping tour. They're like, Rach, you always talk about this healthy stuff. Can you take us on a grocery shopping tour? We just want to know like your favorite peanut butter or your favorite almond butter or your favorite coconut oil. I'm like, wow, you know, it's the basic things that a lot of people really want to know. Presentations. And then old school. This is something that, you know, I think we don't think about enough. And I say this in the forum all the time. You can just on Facebook, social media, Instagram, Pinterest, anywhere. Actually, we didn't even talk about Pinterest, selling on Pinterest, but you can say, hey, give me your email and I'm going to send you this, insert whatever this is. JV with a local place and have them do the marketing for you. So like I said, no excuse, because you want to build your business. You want to have that cash in your pocket, not only for you, but because you love doing this. You know, I always have to tap into my why when I get like tired or I'm working too much or I'm like in creation mode. And, you know, I got an email today from a client and she was just like, oh my God, I'm having so much more energy because like, you know, we changed my diet. And I was just thinking like, wow, like all we did was change your diet. Like we just made some simple things and you're drinking like 2 things that I suggested and it was that profound. And like, you know, my amazing conversation with her, and she's a one-on-one client, it was life-changing for me too, because, you know, we're both moms and we both have that like put everyone else first. And that's what we get to do when we coach. We get to not only journey with our clients, but they journey with us. And so this is a business that you want to have. And so when you have that sales funnel that's really working for you, really attracting your ideal client, everything flows. So that's why I created the 10 free programs. They really created them for me, and then a coach asked me if I would actually sell them. So my free offers lead into a discovery session, lead into often for me one-on-one coaching. You know, most people who get on the phone with me turn into one-on-one coaching, you know, whether it's that day or whether it's a month later. I have online and offline programs that I use as gateway programs. And a lot of those people turn into one-on-one coaching. Some buy oils, some turn into one-on-one coaching. It all depends. And it depends also on your strategy as a coach, who you are. Some people never want to be an online coach. Some people only want to do offline. Some people love to teach. Some people just step back and think about what aligns with you. VIP days are really fun. That's when you kind of, you know, get into crafting, like, you know, yes, I'm going to come and like clean out your kitchen cabinets, and we're going to, you know, I'm going to start you in the cleanse, and then I'm going to, you know, go shopping with you, and like whatever your VIP days are. And then you get into your VIP ultimate packages. And that's like when you really are stepping fully into your business. I love gateway programs because I do feel like a lot of people like to test drive the car. That for me is kind of how I am. And so maybe that's just why that appeals to me. But I think a gateway program is great for somebody who says, you know what, maybe I can afford coaching. That was also one of the reasons I created the elimination program and the detox, is not everyone could afford to work with me one-on-one, but needed that support. You do need a list building strategy. Like so many of you and so many of coaches that I have worked with, they have so much to offer and they have a zero list. So you need to, build your list like we talked about, work your day like a pro, get up and make sure that you're speaking to your niche, you know, creating that avatar, like really getting clear on that messaging, because you could buy 50,000 programs and they could all be on your site. And if the message isn't clear, it's confusing. It's not only confusing for you, but it's confusing for your client. And I'm actually just, you know, right now looking at my own site doing the same thing, like what's clear, what's not, what needs to be taken down, what needs to be removed, and making some of those changes for myself. So get clear and lay that foundation, build your list, have the gateway program, like whatever that gateway program is for you, and events. And also even make sure if you're doing events, whether you do, you know, sell other products or essential oils or anything, or you do an event about, you know, doing smoothies, or you do an online event, follow up. Follow up with a person right after, follow up 3 days later, follow up 7 days later. Most people need like about 3 to 7 touches to really say, wow, I totally like this person. Or maybe they'll unsubscribe and they hate you. I've had people unsubscribe from my list, and that's cool. They shouldn't be on my list then. But if they're meant to be with you and they really want to work with you and they really want to hear what you're talking about, they'll stay on your list and they'll buy from you because you're special and you're unique. So what is the follow-up and seal the deal? And the seal the deal always has to come from the heart. You reaching out to people, you getting clear about your message, or you getting enough exposure, which is for me why those programs, and I was actually just speaking to my webmaster about this tonight. I was saying, you know, I need it to be that I have one page that just says like, this is how I roll, like this is my system, and talk about like each of the things that I believe for my clients, what that system really means. So, you know, think about like, what is that system for you and your client? Is that visibility, or does somebody just come to your site and see 2 50-minute sessions? Because that's not always clear to somebody, and you want somebody to go, oh my God, I gotta grab this 15, 20-minute strategy or discovery session because they see something that entices them. Get clear on what you're offering and why you're offering it. So that boom, the minute that you're like, that's it, yep, gonna offer this, you are good as gold. And you seal that deal because you know that it's right for them and it's right for your business. So bottom line is this. There is no excuse. There's never an excuse to not like build our business. And, you know, yes, does fear get in our way? I think fear is one of the biggest things. I think the second component of why we don't build our business is that we think we have to be perfect. Either that, you know, I've worked with coaches who feel that they need to be at the perfect weight, even though weight loss is their niche. That's not true. If I thought that I needed to be in perfect health, I would never coach, because I have, you know, not only like an autoimmune, but a bunch of other like cofactor stuff, liver, Lyme's, ulcerative colitis. You know, luckily that doesn't come around too often unless things are really, really, really horrific. But like some of the virus and bacteria and stuff, like, you know, messes with my adrenals and a bunch of other fun stuff that happens. And if I thought I needed to be in perfect health, I would never help anybody. Our goal is that we are here, and most of us came to school because we have a story of why we came to school. And most of us, it was actually our own health story, or somebody in our life, you know, something happened to them, or we knew that something was going to happen and we said, that's it, I've got to go on this journey and become a health coach. So really think about your why. Really think about what is important to you. And then really think about, okay, how am I going to get there? Because when we stay in those excuses, that's fear-based and emotional excuses, which we all have. I have. Sometimes I sit in my office and I'm just like, oh my God, and I feel that fear. I don't know what to do. When it's tech excuses, and I hear a lot of people say, well, I'm just really bad with the tech. It's like, are we really bad, or we just haven't learned? Because that's a different thing. And I was, really bad at MailChimp, but I spent the many hours and I learned. So we all, want to learn so that we can get to a different place. And so if you don't have the money for a website, if your list is zero, nada, you can build it. You just need the right tools. And that is the honest truth. If you want to go and create an opt-in freebie, that is great. You want to go and create a program, create a program. If you want to not do any of that and you want to come this season for, the fall done for you programs, for the next 7 days, I'm doing a 10% off. I'm going to be emailing after this webinar, giving you the code. Do not share the code just with everyone, but that code can work for 10% off Basic or Rockstar, Paleo, Revitalize. It does not apply to payment plans, does not apply to bundles, because the bundles already have the discounts. But really, you're saving money on your business. And even, 32 on Rockstar, you could get probably a virtual assistant for an hour. Basic, like I said, get a few kombuchas, Revitalize. Yes, go to Marshall's and get some designer threads for your kids. But any money that we save, I always say, is just money. I know $32 can go to a water bill, and $59 can, pay one of our bills. That's kind of how I look at things, instead of an extra kombucha or Kavita. But I think that's most of us. I think for most of us who are in this business, we want to make this a full-time business. So if you have any questions, you can email me at info@detox.rachelswellness.com. You can always check out what I'm doing at Rachel's Wellness. You can always ask questions, about the programs. I sometimes get coaches who email right from the site. You can go to the site and ask a question, and we get it via email, like what program is right for them. We're more than happy to answer those kind of questions, because, I think we get confused. Like, is paleo and the grain-free right for you? Is Rockstar or Basic and the detox right for you? What is Revitalize? Who is that really good for? And so if you have those questions, or you're feeling, lost or stuck or that kind of stuff, and you think that this is a great fit for you, it would be awesome to have you, number one. But two, the forum support of just being with coaches who are in this place where you can come in this and just share with each other is just unbelievable. So like I said, if you have any questions, you can feel free to email me, and I will be sending out this recording as well. And it has been a true honor to be with you guys, and I look forward to talking to you soon. All right, it is Rachel Feldman. Have an awesome, awesome night. All right, love you guys. Bye.